What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 186, and we start today's episode off with a game against Wigan Athletic here in the FA Cup quarter-finals. So Wigan, a championship side, as they come and take us on, or we come and take them on, we should say, as we're the away side. Coming into this game, FA Cup quarter-finals, this is realistically probably the only trophy we can win this season. Technically, due to a bit of good form of late, there is a chance we could make a late surge for the Premier League title, but I think it's probably going to go to either one of West Brom or Chelsea. So obviously with us being dumped out of the Europa League by Hoffenheim as well, if we want to win a trophy in our debut season with Arsenal, we're going to have to win this one. So coming into the game, you know, the FA Cup, it's not something which I take, you know, so lightly every single season in English football whenever I'm managing, but it's never as big as a priority as the league and the European competition I'm in. But I really would like a trophy, so I did pick a pretty strong side out there. There were a couple of changes, Vargas starting for one, but for the most part, a pretty strong team I felt. So coming into this game, I really did fancy our chances of getting the win, and the first chance would fall to us in the 4th minute. A lovely little mazy run from Vargas there before going forward, and the deflected shot went just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. And in the 13th minute, Cazorla strikes his free kick from 39 yards out, and Lee Nichols has to tip it behind for a corner. So a good bright start here by the Premier League side, as it was still goalless, and from the corner, Mesut Ozil crosses the ball in, and Lauren Koscielny heads the ball past the goalkeeper and makes it Wigan 0, Arsenal 1. So we do go ahead and take the lead in this game. It is through Lauren Koscielny, the skipper. Brilliant corner by Mesut Ozil as well to pick him out, and the header was really ferocious too, past the goalkeeper Nichols and into the back of the net. So Wigan 0, Arsenal 1, and we do take the lead in this game. And of course, you know, for Wigan to get back into this game, it was going to be pretty difficult for them, I felt, you know, because without the strong side we had out there and the strong side we made to the game, you know, you'd probably expect us to start running away with it, and that's why in the 24th minute I wasn't really surprised to see us win a penalty either. Mesut Ozil getting fouled by Ramis in the box there, and the referee has no hesitation in pointing to the spot and giving us a penalty kick. So penalty to Arsenal there, and as Ozil came into the box, you know, I've mentioned how many players in this Arsenal team need to get shipped on, but Ozil, despite being in his 30s, is still a player I do want to keep at Arsenal, because he's 87 overall, even though he does play a bit deeper in a sort of a CM role as opposed to an attacking midfield role for us. He plays as a, you know, just basic central midfielder really. He still does the job for us, and I've been pretty impressed with him since coming in. His passing's really good, as you'd expect, and he wants the penalty there. Danny Welbeck stood up to take it, and he also scored as well. So Welbeck makes it Wigan 0, Arsenal 2, and you know, at this point, as we celebrate in front of the travelling fans, I couldn't really see the game going any other place than, you know, the win for Arsenal. I was going to say the 3 points for Arsenal. The win for Arsenal, because it was, you know, just such a routine half for us, really. Ramsey strike there from the free kick going miles over the bar. But Wigan offered nothing in the first half to show that they probably could cause a shock. It was all Arsenal, and that's why 4.5 minutes after the restart, when Vargas put this ball into the bottom corner, that sealed the game and sealed our fate in the FA Cup. We're going through to the semi-finals, and Wigan are going out at the quarter-final stage. So Vargas making it 3-0. He's obviously playing for a future here at Arsenal. I've been relatively impressed whenever I've played him. He's not a bad player at all, but he does need to keep scoring goals whenever he gets chances. But he took that one very nicely, and you know, that's the thing about this Arsenal team in these last few weeks before the season ends. I am still going to be giving game time, you know, even in these important games, to players like Vargas, and Dzeko will get some starts as well. Players that do need to prove that they need to, well, they just need to prove that they're good enough to stay in this team. Otherwise they'll be getting sold or possibly even released at the end of their contract, as some of them only have 1 year and a few months left on their deals. But still, Wigan 0, Arsenal 3, and for the most part in this game everyone was on top of their game, including Szczesny, who made a good save there to keep it at 3-0 and make sure that Wigan wouldn't get themselves any way back into this game. And Wigan would have a couple of chances, but as you can see just past the hour mark here, we had a great chance to make it 4-0 and seal the game up. Sanchez finding Eduardo Vargas one-on-one, but the shot went wide and behind for a goal kick. So still 3-0 in this game. Of course, the tie was already over. We knew we were going through. It was now all about how many goals we could score. And as Mesut Ozil picks out Vargas here, he finds Danny Welbeck. Welbeck takes it around his man, goes down his right hand side, beats Taylor Sinclair, cuts inside with a fake shot to beat Rami, stays on his feet this time and doesn't get fouled, and ends up putting the ball into the back of the net and makes it Wigan 0, Arsenal 4 after the goalkeeper parried the first shot. So Welbeck at the second time of asking makes it 4-0 to Arsenal there. I think I just said Welbeck stayed on his feet from the Rami's challenge. It was actually Ozil that was fouled, wasn't it, for the penalty? But even so, he stayed on his feet regardless. The first shot was saved and he couldn't miss the second one. So Wigan 0, Arsenal 4, Danny Welbeck with the goal, 4-0 to Arsenal. Again, the game was over in the first half an hour, I felt, to be honest, and the Wigan didn't offer too much at all other than a couple of chances in the second half. Here was one late on, Wigan getting themselves inside with a couple of nice passes, but the shot went wide of Szczesny's post and into the side netting, and that was how the game would finish as well. Wigan 0, Arsenal 4, so we are into the FA Cup semi-finals, which means we'll be going to Wembley. To be honest, I mean, you know, I don't really mind if we don't reach the final or even win the competition, because our main aim, and don't forget the only aim we have through the board, is to qualify for the Champions League. They didn't give us a European aim, they didn't give us a domestic cup aim, it was just qualify for the Champions League. So, you know, even though I would like to, you know, win the FA Cup, it's not really an aim for the board, and although they come to us here and give us a bit of praise for our recent run of form, it's still not an aim. So regardless of what happens in the semi, if we do reach the final, regardless of what happens in the final, you know, we'll still consider the season a good one if we qualify for the Champions League, which is our only aim according to the board. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll still be taking it seriously in the semi-final, I'll still be putting out a decent side, but regardless, it's just nice to know that there's another competition for us to be fighting for, and if we do anything then good, otherwise we're not going to be too fussed. But, you know, winning a trophy in our first season with Arsenal would be very nice indeed, considering how bleak things looked in the first couple of games. Still, we take on Austria and Australia, so 2 international friendlies with England here. We won the first against Austria, then against Australia. It was cagey for the most part, it was still 0-0 and nothing was really happening until Walcott gave us the lead in the 69th minute, and we held on for the win as well. So 2 wins through the international friendlies with England. Of course, don't forget the Euros are at the end of the season as well, so obviously an international competition to play at the end of the season, so I'm looking forward to that. That should be good fun before we start the new season, because there's still many weeks away, but it's still worth considering regardless. So yeah, looking forward to playing the Euros with England. Of course, we're the World Cup winners with England in 2018, so hopefully we can win the Euros as well. We'll have to wait and see. Still, we take on Everton for the second and final game of today's episode here. Now, with 9 games to go for us and 10 games to go for Everton, Everton are drifting away a little bit. I did mention when we first came in there were quite a few teams that could still qualify for the Champions League, and Everton coming into this game, they're drifting away. Games are running out here in the Premier League. For them to qualify for the Champions League, they need to start winning games, and they really do need to start with a win here at Goodison Park. So as we travel to take on Everton here, with us now currently sitting in the top 4, it's going to be interesting to see whether we can keep our nerve and keep on winning the games and keeping our place in the top 4 come the end of the season. And the first chance of the game would fall early on. Danny Welbeck denied by a very good save by Brad Guzan, and the American goalkeeper tips it over the bar and behind for a corner. But at the second time of asking, Danny Welbeck is not denied by Guzan as he heads the ball past him and makes it Everton 0, Arsenal 1. And it was kind of interesting because the first save by Guzan I didn't expect him to make, but he did. It was a fantastic stop by the former Aston Villa goalkeeper. But the second header which Welbeck put in, you know, which he did score from, I thought Guzan should have saved it. So it's kind of interesting how Welbeck scored with the first header. I don't think you could have blamed the goalkeeper, but the second time I'm surprised he let it go in. But even so, Everton 0, Arsenal 1, and a perfect start to this game. But to be honest, not much really happened until 20 minutes after the restart here, when Lazari went down the right hand side, and I've said before, really liking the look of this kid. First nutmegs Besic, then takes the ball round the last man. It makes 2 Everton defenders collide, but the finish went just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. This guy has got a lot of talent. Unfortunately, though, he couldn't finish the chance, and it was still 1-0. But you know, not too much really did happen in this game. Besic went semi-close here in the 78th minute, close enough, I guess, to include as a highlight. But in the 83rd minute, it was still 1-0. And as Everton collect the ball here, McCarthy comes forward and finds Naismith, and Szczesny is called into action for the first time in the game. And thankfully for us, he kept his composure and concentration levels running high. Really good save there, and it's still 1-0. A couple minutes before the end, though, it was still 1-0 to Arsenal. Everton really weren't doing enough to showcase that they should be winning this game, not just getting a point from it. And as Dzeko hits the post in the 89th minute here, it looks like the chance has gone. But as Lazari stops the ball from running out for a throw, and he plays it backwards, Everton give the ball away. Lazari swings in across, picks out Joel Campbell, and Campbell heads it past Guzan, who again, I think probably should have got at least a glove to it. Instead, he watches the header go over his head and into the back of the net. So Joel Campbell comes off the bench, makes it Everton Leicester 0, Arsenal 2, and the points are secured. And this wasn't a pretty win. This wasn't a very good win by any stretch of the imagination. The most important thing though, 3 points. We win again. We keep our place in the top 4, and as games are running out in the Premier League, we're in the position we want to be in. As things stand, we'll be qualifying for the Champions League. Now it's all about holding our nerve and making sure we don't squander points in key games like this one. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please leave a like, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.